What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. I'll be busy, look. I'll be very busy, but I've been busy in a not YouTube friendly kind of way. Basically, I've just wheeled the tool chest over here, so everything I need is to hand. So I'm just picking bits of this sealant off because I don't want it going in the engine. It's amazing how much is squished out. But yeah, basically this is how I would work if I'm working on a bike and I'm not filming it or anything else. The tool chest would be over here. I'd have all my tools where I need them. I wouldn't be bothered about, you know, oh, make sure the camera's over there and it's facing this way and you can see everything that you need to and blah-de-blah-de-blah. I don't give a monkeys about that. I just want it done. And it is so much quicker. So literally hour and 5 minutes, I would say, from the bench. Yeah, it's from the engine hitting the bench. I've got it down to this sort of stage. And if I wanted to, I could just have the clutch drum off and I could pull the input and output shaft off. Don't quite want to do that because I'm grubbing about having a look-see. The only thing I've found, I'll show you in a minute. So I really don't want this going in the engine. It is amazing how much squishes out, look, and that was the tiniest bead going. These surfaces have got to be dead flat. Oh, one last bit. Hang on. Come on. Stop being a goon. There we go. Right, that'll do. So, right, let me put you over here. See, this is the trouble, isn't it? Right, I've had to shut the workshop door as well a bit because there's too much light coming in and that messes up the videos. Oh, God. Right, okay. So, with this in neutral, which I think is there, everything spins over quite happily. So I'm holding the output shaft and just spinning the input shaft and it all rotates. Like it should. Oh, that's interesting, that. Was that there before? I've just spotted something else. I need to go back and look at footage from the other one because I've just spotted something on the clutch drum. Where's the... Right, that's interesting. That's very interesting, actually. Where has that come from? Right, we'll get to that in a second. So, the only thing that I can find, I've took a picture and I'll stick it up so you can see, but this bearing cap isn't sitting down right. Now, it could be that that was dislodged when I've took the cases off. There isn't any of this silicone goo put on here. It's only on that face, not on that face, because that's the one that you miss, and then it starts again round here. So basically from this point, around the bearing, across that bit and round it, there is no goo. Goo starts here and there. But he's not sitting down properly and he is up by a mil and a half, something like that. So it could be that where I was goofing about trying to get that on before I put the cases back together, that I dislodged it and then I've clamped the cases down and it's all sort of bound up. But this is all quite happy. It all moves quite happily. That middle set of gears does want to sort of drift that way, but I suppose this is up a little bit, so it probably would do. But then I've also got this. So if I get the clutch hub off, come on. Oh, come on, I've got to get the centre out, haven't I? Come on. I need an M6 screw. Ooh. You at M6? Yes. Right, so he's in there. Right, so that's out. Get him out of the way. Take the bearing off. I've just noticed this. Where are you? Well, I'm not sure if you can see, but round here there's a load of scuffing. Now, I don't know what has caused that, and the thing is, I also don't know if it was there before. When you turn it over, there is no clanky noises or grindy noises or anything else. It all moves quite happily and freely. It's just that it took effort, you know, more effort than you ordinarily would. It's not hard work by any means, but it took more effort to turn the back wheel. I'll have a look inside the cases, or just have rather, and I can't see anything rubbing up against this. And if you look, it's also intermittent. It's not like it's not a constant thing, but there's definitely scuff in there, and I can't remember if it was there before or not. Right, so it can come off as well. It's not damaged. It's not damaged. There's no burrs or anything anywhere. Oh, there goes my keeper. I don't know if I showed you this before, but that's the keeper that sits in there. There is nothing there at all. Right, so if you have a look at the bearing cap that sits on the end, that's the hole that the dowel sits in. It's elongated that way, maybe a little bit, but I think it's just a lead-in. I think because, no, it's just a lead-in. What is going on? So he does sit down quite happily. There's no markings on the output shaft. There is no damage at all. Again, all the dogs move quite happily. And the bearings are seated all the way down. That and the clutch is the only thing that I've found. Where's that housing? Is this on? Yes, it is. Right, you're going handheld for this bit. Sorry. It's the easiest way to show you. Right, so there's the housing. So if you look around the housing, right, there is no galling, no scuffing, no nothing. It all looks quite happy. And if you look at where the how am I going to do this? Right. He sits about like that. Because there is a gear that meshes there, so this is spread out just a little bit. But he basically sits something like that. So if you look where the galling is, it's basically in line here. So round there, and there is nothing. There is absolutely nothing on that line. Yeah, I thought maybe it was this bit, but again, you know, there is just nothing. Nothing at all. So I'm not sure if that was on there before and that's like a previous wall wound or something, but I'm not seeing any damage on the casing that matches this lot. There's absolutely nothing. One of life's little mysteries, isn't it? How odd. Right, okay then, so what am I going to do? First thing I need to do is clean all this goo off. And then what I'm probably going to do is put the input shaft back in. Put some goo on the cases, shove the input shaft back in. And then I'm just going to torque it all down and see if it's at that point that stuff starts nipping up. I think is probably the way to go. And I'm just going to have to check, you know, each time I throw something else on, I'm just going to have to check it and see, okay, is everything spinning as it should be? Because it should spin just free and easy, with no fuss, no dramas, none of that. It should be a doddle. So that's what I'm doing. This video is going to be crap. It's not going to be edited up and all nice and lots of positions on the camera and everything else. The reason being is that in 2 hours time, Sammy's coming to get me, and then I'm not back in the shop again until after I've had my holidays. I can't fully rebuild everything again. I mean, I could probably, you know, put quite a sizable dink in the workload, but I'm still waiting on gaskets and everything else to turn up. Whilst I'm in it, I'm just doing them anyway. So I could only really get the cases and like the clutching and a few other bits and pieces, which we'll see how far we get. But then the rest of this rebuild is going to have to wait until I've come back from holiday and we can crack on and get it done then. So, right, okay. You're going off for a bit because I need to concentrate and get stuff done. And I'll bring you back when I'm sticking the cases on. Right, and time for a quick update. Got all the cases and everything else back on. Clamped it down. Well, actually, I hadn't even clamped it down. We just had like the input and output shaft sitting in the bearing. Put this on top. Haven't put any bolts or anything else in it. It was just turning the input shaft. And it would turn for a bit and then it would get stiff. Then it would turn a little bit more and then it would get stiff again and so on and so forth. So what we've ended up doing is I put the old output shaft with the new input shaft, because the output shaft was fine. All the dogs, absolutely no worries. Put it all back together again. I've just nipped up the bolts. They're not torqued down. It is in neutral, but if you spin it and grab hold of the output shaft, it all spins really, really happily, and that's just like finger and thumb. So we found a problem, and the problem sits on here somewhere. That's what, I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, the shaft could be a bit bent. I mean, all the dogs and everything else look fine. But it's curious, and it would go tight, like you turn it and you get like 4 revolutions and then it would start to go tight. And then you give it like another couple of revolutions and then it would loosen off again, or like maybe 1 revolution. But this, that's how it should be. So all I need to do now, I'm going to torque it all down so the whole thing is clamped in place, and then I'm just going to keep checking it basically. But that's how it should be. If that's what it is, then I'm happy, problem's fixed. But bloody hell, what's the time? 5:22, Sam's coming at past. So I might have time to torque it, but we'll see how we go. Right, that's it, mystery solved. Dodgy output shaft on the new gearbox. All the dogs on this do look fine. It's the input shaft that takes the battering. The output shaft is fine, and that runs sweet as anything. I'm so glad I got this done before I went on my holiday. Very, very happy with that. Right, so I've just got the top bolts to put in, which means flipping all this around, but Sam should be here in a sec. So, I am probably going to call it there. At least you've seen it. At least you know it's fixed. When I'm on my holiday, all my new gaskets will turn up. And, oh dear, look, there's all goo everywhere. But yeah, the new gaskets will all turn up. And that way I can get it all back together again, which won't take long at all. I know how it all goes together now. It's all sort of familiar ground. I learnt the first time through. So it's just a case of making sure the gaskets go where they're needed, and copper washers and O-rings and all that stuff all get swapped out, and just methodically put it all back together again. But I ended the last one on a low note. This is definitely a high note. Definitely. Anyway, that's where I'm leaving you. I'm off on my holidays. Don't expect to see anything from me for a week, at least, because I'm going to be laying like that next to a pool, my feet up, beer in hand, getting brown, and just chilling out for a week. It's going to be lovely to sit down and do absolutely nothing. So anyway, thank you ever so much for watching. I do hope you're well and staying safe, and I will see you on the next one. Yes!